Welcome to Poke Primer for Mew VMAX in the Scarlet and Violet Standard. Note that this video only covers up to Pokemon 151 as Paradox Rift has just been released at the time of recording. If there are any notable updates to the deck, I'll provide an update video in the description or at the end of the video. In this video, I'll be going over the face card of the deck, as well as the attackers that the deck uses, a sample deck list, and I'll also be giving some openers and tips to kind of show you how to play the deck, or kind of know how it's supposed to feel. Now this is just a warning before we start the video. Mew VMAX is a very strange deck, and when I say strange I mean it only runs about 13 Pokemon in one version, and even less in other versions. Note that we also don't have an ability to really work with either, so unlike the Gardevoir list where we went into abilities and we talked about how everything worked together, we're not really going to have that with this list. Now by no means does this make Mew VMAX a bad list. If anything, Mew VMAX is one of the best lists out there, and also very beginner friendly. The skill floor for it is very low, which means it's easy to get into, but the skill ceiling's high, and we'll talk about that more as the video goes on. The face card of the deck is Mew VMAX. Mew VMAX is a Fusion Strike Pokemon. For 2 colorless energy, it can use the attack Cross Fusion Strike. Cross Fusion Strike allows you to choose one of your benched Fusion Strike Pokemon's attacks and use it as its own attack. Note that there are 2 different types of Mew VMAX decks that are currently getting played, but both of them I feel are almost equally as competitive. One of the Mew VMAX decks only uses Genesect V, while the other one also takes advantage of other cards that care about Fusion Strike energy, such as Meloetta and now recently played Eskew. For the attackers section, we're going to be going over some of the other Pokemon that are included in the list instead of just talking about the attackers. The only attacker in this list that you will genuinely use is Mew VMAX. When you're running the Meloetta list, you might be attacking with Meloetta every once in a while, but mostly you're going to be attacking with Mew VMAX. The all-star card in this list is Genesect V. By using Genesect V's ability, you're able to refill your hand equal to the number of Fusion Strike Pokemon you control. Because every single Pokemon you play in this list is a Fusion Strike Pokemon, you're going to be able to draw up to 6 cards every single turn. Mew VMAX also takes advantage of Genesect V being in the list because it can copy its attack Technoblast for 1 energy less. Technoblast deals 210 damage, but has the downside of during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. Now normally this would be a big deal for someone like Genesect V, but Mew VMAX has free retreat, and because you're setting up multiple VMAXs on the board anyway, you can usually just retreat into another Mew VMAX, or kind of find your way to switch things in and out. The list we'll be looking at today is the first place regional Lille list that plays Meloetta and Eskew, and this is the Fusion Strike energy version, so if it's a little bit off from what you want to play, there's other lists on Limitless that you can look that ignore the Fusion Strike energy. Mew VMAX plays about 13 Pokemon. It plays 4 Mew V, 3 Mew VMAX, 4 Genesect V, 1 Meloetta, and 1 Eskew. For trainers, Mew VMAX plays about 40 of them, and they're kind of a lot. So we're going to get started and we're going to go through this as fast as we can. We're going to start with 2 Boss's Orders, 2 Alessa's Sparkle, 1 Roxanne, 1 Judge, 1 Avery, 4 Battle VIP Pass, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Power Tablet, 4 Cramomatic, 3 Lost Vacuum, 2 Feather Ball, 2 Escape Rope, 1 Switch Cart, 1 Pal Pad, 1 Trekking Shoes, 3 Forest Sealstone, 2 Choice Belt, 1 Lost City, and 1 Path to the Peak. The energy in this list are very simple. You run 4 Fusion Strike energy and 3 Double Turbo energy. And now onto the tips and tricks section. In this part, we're going to talk about what you should be doing to set up Mew VMAX. When setting up for Mew VMAX, one of the most important things is making sure that you can evolve it on turn 2. Along with that, we need to be able to set up our Genesect engine without blocking off our bench. If you have the ability to search for Pokemon on turn 1, you want to make sure you have at least 2 Mew Vs on the bench, as well as 2 Genesect Vs. Your goal is to get a Mew VMAX as well as a backup Mew VMAX on the bench as soon as possible. That way, just in case anything goes wrong, you have a backup Mew VMAX to retreat into, as well as the fact that since they're all Fusion Strike Pokémon, you can draw as many cards as you want. Note that you can put down an early Askew or Meloetta, but understand since you only play one of each, it's very risky, and you probably want to make sure that you have your Fusion Strike energy set up first. The main hurdle of this list is trying to figure out if you need to activate Genesect V in your hand, or if the cards in your hand are kind of okay for the situation. For example, if you have stuff like Power Tablet in your hand, you probably don't want to use that just to lower the number of cards in your hand to draw, unless you're kind of stuck on Pokemon. Items such as Cramomatic and Featherball and Lost Vacuum can be used on stuff that really doesn't matter, but you want to keep those for late game too to get yourself out of weird situations. The final tip I have for this deck is not being afraid to put down a Path to the Peaks, because by using Path to the Peaks you can lock your opponents out of stuff, especially when you don't need to use your Genesect V's ability. You get to a point in the game where you no longer need to draw anything else because of the fact that you're set up so nicely. So after you have your Pokemon filled with energy, and you no longer need to use Genesect V, don't be afraid to drop a Path to the Peaks to stop decks like Charizard and any other huge ability-reliant decks. And that's about it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed Mew VMAX. The deck is definitely okay for a beginner to play, and I highly recommend it. If you guys like this primer, feel free to drop a follow, or even like the video. Comments below if you have any more questions for me, and if you're looking for more Poke Primers, keep an eye out on the channel as more will be coming out soon.